What's going on, everyone? This is intense. I like it. That'd be cool if I just started spitting something. I'm not going to. Welcome to the stream. It's KO Bets. My name is Bill. Let me straighten this out. My name is Bill. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Let me adjust my levels and make sure I'm looking good. We had UFC Fight Night over the weekend. We had football yesterday. We got the Rams taking on... Who are they playing? They're playing someone tonight. Oh, the 49ers. I think it's in San Francisco. So that should be a pretty good game. I got the Rams in that one. Bulls are playing the Lakers tonight. Big win against the Clippers. I think the only game we've lost on this road trip thus far is the... it might have been that one to the Warriors. Let's look at Bulls. Beat the Mavericks. Oh, we haven't even really started the trip yet. I mean, the first game was the Warriors. So yeah, this is like the big road trip. I think it's a big test for the Bulls. Beat the Clippers, then we got the Lakers. It's a winnable game. Trailblazers winnable, Nuggets. It's just a, it was a tough slate of games, and I can't believe how well our team's doing to start this year. It's super exciting. Yeah, should we just get into the fights? Let's just get into the fights. We had UFC Fight Night, Holloway versus Rodriguez. Not an outstanding weekend betting. We had 11 total fights. In those fights, I think we went 7-4, which obviously isn't great. Probably one of our worst betting weekends since we started doing this. But so it took down the win percentage a tick. Never like to see that, but pretty entertaining set of fights. I was hanging out. I had a 2-year-old's birthday, watching it on my phone. Yeah, I really enjoyed a lot of the fights. So let's just get into it. Talk a little bit about next week's fights. I'll post my picks for those on Friday. This one we're just here to review. Daun Jung gets the nice round 1 KO against Kennedy. Hold on! Woo! I tried to say hold up before sneezing. That was crazy. I'm gonna have to watch that back. And I'll probably have another one coming up here soon. Another sneeze. It's always in 2s or 3s. Very rarely do they attack you one at a time. It usually comes in a flurry. So, yeah, Daun, really nice performance against Kennedy. Gets the round 1 knockout. Boxing looked good. Boxing looked on point. We liked him as the more technical fighter heading into the fight. He's now 4-0-1 in the UFC. So with 11 KOs. So 11 out of his 15 wins have come via KO. Kennedy, he's now 3-2 in the UFC. Losses coming to Daoun and Paul Craig. So pretty fast fight for sure. Mark Diakisi, I took Mark Diakisi in this. Bad choice. That I didn't think the grappling would come into play as much as it did. Rafael ends up getting a round 1 submission. I was driving during this one, but I heard it. I mean, so got that one wrong. Didn't nominate any sort of prop bet for that fight. We did throw out there the Daoun KO or decision. That was something we liked. And then in this next fight, this was one of the first fights, I bet on of the night, and this was Courtney Casey going against Liana Jojua. And Casey we thought she would be the more well-rounded fighter. I thought she would maybe fare a little bit better in the grappling department. Obviously, that's Jojua's strength. But yeah, Jojua just needed to kind of get the fight to the mat earlier in the rounds when she did get takedowns. But, it was like last minute, last 30 seconds, she couldn't even do anything from those positions. I thought Courtney Casey won the fight pretty convincingly. It was good to see her, I favored her everywhere, but clearly she wasn't, there was an opportunity for Jojua to grapple in this match, and she just didn't really implement it. We had Sean Woodson KOing Colin Englin in round 1 with some body shots. Sean Woodson, he looked really good and powerful. He was a heavy favorite. We did choose him. Liked his ability to potentially point strike in this fight, and the volume he was putting on, and the body shots he was landing. It was a really, really good performance. The dude is 6'2", fighting at 145. It's pretty crazy. His body type in the octagon there. So he moves to 3-1. Colin Anglin's now 0-2. He's drawn some tough opponents. I think he had Melsik Bagdasarian and Sean Woodson now. So 0-2 to start his UFC career. Not a good start, but Sean Woodson looked good. Looking forward to seeing more of him moving forward. We'll see. It's November. Probably won't see him, in the octagon this year, but look forward to an early fight from him next year. Then we had Cynthia Calvillo against Andrea Lee. Was going back and forth on this one. Definitely liked Andrea Lee in the stand-up department. You could just hear, because she was yelling every time she threw a strike, but she was definitely putting pressure on Cynthia Calvillo on the feet. Ends up getting the stoppage after round 2. So really, really nice performance from Andrea Lee. Cynthia Calvillo, she needed to wrestle in this fight. Got 1 of 3 takedowns. Wasn't down on the ground for much time at all in this fight. So, just really didn't implement her game plan that well. And Andrea Lee, so she's coming off of, I think she beat Shevchenko, the sister, not Valentina, in her last fight. And now I think she had a nice performance against Cynthia, but she has struggled against wrestlers. So I went with Cynthia as my money line pick. Went back and forth on it, like I said, but good win for Andrea Lee. Tough loss for Cynthia. We've seen Modafferi. What's that girl's name? Murphy. They both they both implemented really strong takedown game plans against Andrea Lee. Yoel Rivera's against it's not written. Thiago Moises though. Yoel Rivera's scores the round 1 KO. So Thiago's lost to Islam and Yoel Alvarez in back-to-back fights. I took Thiago Moises. He was a pretty heavy favorite at minus 265. I was pretty confident, and Yoel Alvarez just looked really good. Caught me by surprise. Congratulations if you took Yoel Alvarez. I had him at plus 215 odds. You know, sadly, I wasn't considering what life could look like with Yoel Alvarez winning this fight, but I imagine if you bet on a KO for him, it was a pretty handsome payout, so congrats. Then we had Song Yidong taking on Julio Arce. Both are really nice fighters. Song Yidong gets the round 2 KO. Big difference as far as the striking game with the hands, I thought, in this fight. Arce, I would say he's more of a kicker. So Song Yidong, really nice performance from him. We liked the KO or decision in this fight. Just liked his ability to score points versus Julio Arce. You can see the, accuracy on the striking kind of tells the whole story. Song Yidong he was just better in the stand-up department. We had Miguel Baez against Chaos Williams. Lost this one. Chose Miguel Baez. Thought he was going to be maybe more technical as a fighter. We did mention, we have seen him have cardio issues, and he ends up getting knocked out in the 3rd round. So again, another underdog wins here. Congrats to anyone who took Chaos Williams. He's now 4-1 in the UFC. 7 KOs out of his 13 wins come via KO. 5 decisions. Real dangerous. Saw a version of him where he was definitely pushing the pace in the stand-up department in this really, really nice fight from Chaos Williams. This was another one. Song Yidong, Courtney Casey and Felicia Spencer and Max. I was very confident in. Felicia Spencer scores the round 3 KO. Trying to remember how this one played out at the very end. I think I was maybe... We've seen her get the ground and pound stoppages before. It might have been something like that. I don't know, but she just dominated in this fight. And Lei Letson, now she's 1-1 in the UFC. She couldn't keep the fight standing. And when it did go, Felicia Spencer was fine there, but when it did go to the ground, it was bad news for Lei. So good KO win for Felicia Spencer. This next one, Ben Rothwell. I don't know what to do with Ben Rothwell. I chose him in this fight. I liked Ben Rothwell decision for plus 300. That was kind of like, it's gonna be my cute little bet on this card. Besides like parlays or whatever, I really like the odds of a Ben Rothwell decision at plus 300. Ultimately just gets knocked out in the first round. Really not a great performance from him at all. We knew Marcos was coming in here with probably a little bit more KO prowess, even though Ben Rothwell does have a high KO rate in his own right. Just the style of fighter he is. He kind of trots around at a frantic pace. He implements weird deeks and ducks, and he shows his palm, he shows the back of his hand. He does weird stuff when he fights. And he pushes a high pace, typically, a really high pace. And yeah, just kind of got swarmed in this. Good for Marcos. Good for, hey, and always in the heavyweight bouts, we get that round one knockout. That's always an intriguing aspect of betting on heavyweights, is that first round knockout. I'm trying to think. I was just going back to see if we had. This was the only heavyweight bout of the night? Yeah. It's kind of a bummer. And it really wasn't for any, sort of implications or anything. We know Gon and Nagano are fighting. What else is lined up? Oh, Stipe's got to fight someone. John Jones has got to fight someone. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then in the last fight of the night, Max Holloway versus Yair Rodriguez. I bet on a Max decision. I was really I was proud of that bet. I thought I thought both fighters looked really good. Yair, for being off for 2 years, outstanding performance. The leg kicks, outstanding. I think he broke his foot, maybe. Hey, cat's under there, clawing at me. I think he broke his foot. Max, solid job in the takedown department. That blew my mind, seeing Max take the fight to the mat. Obviously, great volume from him. Yeah, I mean, we know it. Both of these guys are really good. Didn't think Max warranted the minus 720 odds, but if he wins a unanimous decision, I guess you could, say the odds were fair. Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see who Yair faces in the future. I think the stage is set for a Volkanovski versus Max trilogy fight. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, Max obviously deserves it. Max is one of my top 3 favorite fighters of all time. After the trilogy fight, if he doesn't win, I think it's probably time to potentially look at a different division, 155, maybe look at more of those legacy fights, not because Max doesn't have a lot of time left. I think he's got a ton of fights left in him. How old is Max Holloway? He's not that old. But, if he's not going to have an opportunity to keep... Oh, so he's going to be 30 next month. I'm 29 too. He's going to be 30 next month. So, I mean, still young. Still a lot of fights left for him. Yeah, I just personally would hate to kind of see... I don't know. I want to see Yair fight probably Ortega. I think that could be pretty interesting. And yeah, I guess I want to see Max fight against Volkanovski. But besides Volkanovski, I don't know who I want to see him fight against. Maybe if someone from the 135 pound division wants to come up and switch divisions, maybe Max could take some, a fight like that, but I just don't really know what's left for Max at this division. Obviously if he beats Volkanovski, like, that would set up the fourth fight between them, and that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. And I almost, like, I want Max to be successful and succeed. I just don't want to see Volkanovski versus Holloway 5 times. Best 3 out of 5 or whatever. Or so. I don't know. It's kind of weird because Max is so good and Volkanovski is so good, and those contests were so close. So maybe put in the comments section, put who you'd like to see Max fight next and who you'd like to see Yair fight next. I think there's good fights to make for both of them. I'm just curious, like, do people even want to see Max versus Volkanovski 3? I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing it a third time, but like after 3 times, it's like, even if Max wins, and that's so unfair to Volkanovski. I just don't want to see Volkanovski and Max 4 times. And then I'd like to see Yair and Volkanovski. That'd be a good fight, I think. Yeah. So, I mean, both of these guys, I think their stock is right where it needs to be. Top 4 in their division. If we look ahead to next week, let's go back to the homepage here. As we look ahead to next week, we've got Rivera against Miesha Tate. There's some interesting fights. Chiesa against Brady. Chiesa would be like, he's one of those guys. I don't know. We could be talking about Chiesa against Hamzat possibly down the line here, I think, depending on how his fight goes, obviously. And same with Sean Brady. If he beats a guy like Chiesa, that's no joke. You could do the Hamzat Sean Brady show. Adrian Yanez, Joanna Wood, Talia Santos. I think most of these fighters, I'm trying to think. I don't know if we've covered a Kung Ho Kang fight. I'm not sure if we've covered one of his fights. Tucker Lutz. Nathan Levy. Oh, Lupi's fighting. Love Lupi Godinez. McKinney. Which, nah, that can't be right. The Mongolian murderer? Inner Mongolia, China. He's from the Performance Institute. Interesting. He fought Molina in his debut. Okay. So we have covered him. Probably couple new people we haven't covered, though. I'm sure sprinkled in here. So should be an entertaining fight next weekend. I'll post those pics on Friday. We do a live show format, so if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. You'll get notified when I go live every week, every day of the week that I go live. We only go live on Mondays, Fridays, and Sunday. I don't got time. I don't have time for the other the other days. I can't afford it. Have a great week, everyone. If you haven't already, maybe think about sharing the stream with someone. Would appreciate that. Word of mouth goes a long way. As you can tell, the money line percentages, our picks are pretty accurate every week. So I think we could do better. Would love to hear your input. Kind of, the vision for this is kind of to make it a back and forth dialogue with the audience. I'm not going to cave to the audience. I do my research and my own picks before I come live on air here. Sometimes I switch stuff, but I'm trying to be correct and not fall victim to emotion, succumb to that. So I'll clearly let you know. I'll be transparent if I'm picking with my brain or my heart. Have a good week, everyone. Remember, 2 ears, 1 mouth. See you later.